Hey guys, it's Genevieve. Welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, and if you're not new, you already know that I love you, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. So this is my top 4 vegan breakfasts. Starting off, we have a green smoothie bowl. This is super delicious and a great way to essentially eat a salad for breakfast. So as you saw, I added in half a frozen banana, about a cup of ice, and then a ton of spinach. I honestly don't know how much this is, but you can kind of see how much I'm putting in, really packing it in. Then I'm adding in half an avocado for a source of healthy fat. Avocados are really great for your skin and your brain, and they just taste really good and they make the bowl super creamy. I'm adding in a drizzle of agave nectar and a scoop of this Garden of Life raw vegan vanilla protein powder. It is the best one I've ever tried. So if you're looking for a great plant-based protein, I definitely recommend this one. This is the almond milk that I use. It is a mixture of almond and coconut milk by the brand Earth's Own. It is, again, my favorite plant-based milk. So I'm adding in about half a cup of this. But depending on your blender, you might have to add a little bit more or a little bit less. Ideally, you want to keep the liquid to a minimum so you can have a thicker ice cream-like bowl. After blending it, you should have a thick ice cream-like consistency. This one's not super thick, but I just accidentally added in a bit too much liquid, but that's okay. And now I'm just going to smooth over the smoothie bowl and start adding my toppings. Today's toppings were zucchinis, and I'm adding in some almonds as well. And then we are done. This is a really, really great breakfast, and I typically have this on mornings where I have a little bit more time and when I feel like having ice cream. Next is a tofu scramble, which I know sounds a little bit weird if you're used to scrambled eggs. It might be a little weird the first few times that you try it, but honestly, it is a really great recipe. So I'm starting off with just chopping up a half of an orange bell pepper. And I'm adding that into a pan that has a little bit of olive oil on it. Then I am going to chop up some of this fresh kale. This is curly kale, and it's my favorite type of kale. So now this is the key ingredient, your tofu. Make sure to wash your hands before you do this because, as you can see, you really get to experience the food with your hands, so make sure they're clean. So you're just crumbling the tofu into the pan, making sure that there's no super big pieces, or also make sure that you don't over crumble it, or else that's just going to be really annoying to eat. I am adding in some of this coconut aminos. It adds a really great saltiness to it, but it's not as high sodium as soy sauce. And then I'm adding in some turmeric. It's really great for your skin and it's super anti-inflammatory. And some smoked paprika for pretty much the same reasons. It's really good for anti-inflammatory purposes, and it just pairs really well with the turmeric. And to help with absorption of both of those spices, I am adding in some black pepper. And because it tastes good. And then you're going to take it to your stove. I cooked this tofu scramble on medium to high heat for about 6 to 10 minutes. basically until the tofu is a little bit crispy and the kale is completely wilted. And to help with that process, I am covering it with a lid just so that it can kind of steam. As you can see, I am plating it up and I'm about to add the best ingredient ever. As you know, I really like it since it was in the last recipe as well. I am adding in half an avocado on top. It's a really great source of healthy fats and it just adds a really, really nice addition to the meal. So yeah, I am just slicing it up and going to lay it on top of the tofu scramble. And then that is the second breakfast recipe complete. Okay, we are on to the third breakfast recipe. This is probably the one that I have the most often. It is a strawberry banana smoothie with almond butter and it's so good. So I'm starting off with half a frozen banana and about half a cup to a cup-ish of frozen strawberries. Then I'm adding my favorite almond milk again into the blender. I'm adding basically just as much almond milk as it takes to get to like the top of the frozen fruit. I find that this allows the smoothie to blend properly but also be on the thicker side. Then I'm adding in my Garden of Life raw vegan protein powder, again about a scoop. And the best ingredient ever, creamy almond butter. I am adding in about a tablespoon, like a generous tablespoon of it because it's so good and it's honestly the best part of the smoothie. And then I am blending it. Now, being the classic vegan that I am putting it in a mason jar because that's just what you do when you go vegan. So in total, this smoothie took me about 5 minutes to make, if that. It's super quick and perfect for mornings that you have something right away. This is my go-to breakfast for days that I have contortion or a dance class first thing in the morning, and it keeps me full for a long time. Last recipe is overnight oats. Again, starting off with a mason jar, I'm adding in about half a cup of thick cut oats. I didn't know where my half cup measuring cup was, so I'm using a tablespoon, but you can kind of just see how much I'm adding in. As I said, it's about half a cup. Then I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of whole chia seeds. This helps it thicken up and it's really great for fiber and it just adds to the recipe. I like it. Then I'm adding in not a tablespoon, but about a 1/4 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And this is my secret ingredient to make it delicious. I'm adding in a few of these little dates. They are essentially like putting caramel in your overnight oats, but they're healthy. So yeah, I'm just chopping those up and going to add that into the mason jar. And because I like things super sweet, I am adding in some of these liquid stevia drops. Next is almond milk. I am adding in just enough almond milk to cover the mixture completely and allow the oats and the chia seeds to be able to soak up the almond milk and it not be super dry. So basically fill up the mason jar completely. So if you're making this in a container that doesn't have a lid, just stir it really, really well. I obviously have a lid, so I'm just shaking it. And this helps to combine everything really well and make sure that you don't have any like weird clumps of chia seeds. And then you are just going to pop it in the fridge and wait until the morning. So then the overnight oats are complete. This was honestly my favorite overnight oat recipe I've ever tried, so I highly recommend all of these recipes. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you next time. Bye!